6:30 weather impact alert on our Tuesday afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's switch over to Weather 1 if we can. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Mike Prangley will be joining us here shortly. He's going to talk a little bit about the tropics. We've got an Atlantic La Nina. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to talk about this, our weather impact alert for, well, the rest of this afternoon to cover all of this rain. And again for tomorrow, although tomorrow is actually a little bit on the fence a little bit here. We're not going to see as much rain as what we've seen out there today. And some areas haven't even seen any rain today, but it looks like overall rain chances are coming down just a little bit. So let's take you over to the radar right now. And you can see that we're basically looking at showers south of I-4, especially in eastern Polk County. You get out into Hardee, DeSoto, and Highlands County, quite a bit of rain there. Now, none of this is severe. There are a couple embedded thunderstorms, and that's something that we're watching for. But for the most part, it's just moderate rainfall. Now, Citrus, Hernando County, a couple of showers and storms for you, but slow movers. And there is a ton of moisture to work with. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere from the ground all the way up. And so that means you can get some pretty good downpours in a short amount of time, which means kind of like localized flooding, right? The roads, those areas that tend to flood a little bit when you get a heavy downpour, that's what you'd be watching for, Lecanto, but especially down towards Brooksville. Well, maybe I should say that. I say northwest Brooksville, up towards the Sugar Mill Woods area in Citrus County. Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, most of Hernando at least, but and Hillsborough. Basically dry now. We've seen some rain this afternoon, especially southern Pinellas, southern Hillsborough, but that's now pushing out into Polk County. And in fact, that's where most of our rain is now, central and eastern Polk County. But that's mostly light rainfall. Look at that one thunderstorm, and it's a doozy out there. This is the one that's now just exiting Polk County. It's out here south of Harmony. I mean, that's a pretty good little thunderstorm, but again, it's moving away from the area. And so that should not be affecting us. It's way out there. So if you look back down to the south, Manatee, Sarasota County, we've seen some showers. Look at Anna Maria Island in the upper left-hand corner. Most of that is just off the coast, but that's Fort DeSoto seeing a little bit of rain out towards Egmont Key. And then you can see mainly most of the rain is along and east of I-75 in Manatee and Sarasota County. In fact, most of it is just right there north of Lakewood Ranch because it's all exiting the county. So that Wauchula, Arcadia, yeah, some good rain. Again, nothing severe there, but some really good downpours, and that's all moving through Highlands County right now. You haven't seen as much, but this is kind of the bulk of the rain for you today. Eastern Manatee, Highlands, Hardee, DeSoto, Highlands counties right now for the next couple of hours. The rain offshore is still around that area of low pressure, but this low is actually sinking a little bit further to the south. And that's the forecast, right? There's also a frontal boundary stalled up here. But we need all of that to sink southward before we get all of this out of here. And that's the reason why we've had our weather impact alert, because that's not normal, right? Not severe, but it's not something that we typically see an afternoon shower and thunderstorm pattern. The low itself, about 165, 170 miles west-southwest of St. Pete Beach. You can see we measured it there, but there's nothing going on with development. There is a ton of wind shear coming in on this thing from the southwest to the northeast. If that wasn't there, we'd be watching. This would develop tropically. It's over warm water. It's got a low pressure center here, but all of the tops are being sheared off to the right there, and so it just can't get its act together. Great news, right? We'll take that. There's the frontal boundary that we've been talking about. That's the one that will push further south as we go through the next couple of days. That's the one that has the cooler, well, it's tough to call it cooler, but it's definitely drier air back behind it. The dew points here are much lower, and some of that gets down into here. Our dew points are in the mid-70s. I'll show you this coming up. It should drop down into the upper 60s, at least for the Tampa area, even less for areas away from the water. That will make the temperature cooler in the mornings. Still going to be warm, upper 80s in the afternoon, but much less humidity as we make our way into the weekend. So we need to get all of this through the area. And yeah, that's why we've been so unsettled. Beautiful out there at the beach. I love looking at this, though, to be honest with you. Not the best beach day, of course, but yesterday we saw quite a bit of a break in the clouds. So initially, at least for a couple hours, we saw some sunshine there. But now, if you look back out towards the west, we're still seeing quite a bit of cloud cover there. You see all of that? So I don't know if we're going to get a whole lot of a break this evening. There will be a little bit the further north you go. All right, so water temperatures in the mid to upper 80s at this point. Air temperatures, you can see coming in at 83 in Tampa, 77 in Sarasota after the rain that just went through earlier this afternoon, 86 up in Homosassa and Crystal River, and 86 in the water right now. That's the Pier 60 number coming in. And here's the forecast model, okay? So the rain starts to move out. There is still that one little line that comes through later this evening. It's that line that's up into Pasco County right now, Hernando County and Citrus right now. I think it gets down into Pasco around 6:30, 7:30. There's not a whole lot to it, but we'll watch. It's just some showers. Tomorrow morning starts a little bit drier. I still think quite a few clouds around, but we will start a little bit drier. Then in the afternoon, we get afternoon showers and thunderstorms. And one of the criteria that we look for when we issue our weather impact alerts is if the rain's in the morning, because that's just not typical. And you've got a lot going on for the morning, right? And so we want to give you a heads up about that. I don't think we see a lot tomorrow morning. There will be some, and the better chance will be further south you get into Sarasota. So down Venice and Vamo, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you.
But then in the afternoon, we get these showers and storms coming in from the northeast to the southwest. All right, now the other side, or one of the other criteria, is a 70% chance, 70% coverage. I really don't even think we get that tomorrow. But because we will have lots of clouds and some scattered showers, we're going to go ahead and just leave it in effect and just give you a heads up that still not our typical sunshine, afternoon showers and thunderstorms, right? So a little bit more than that. So Thursday morning, here's where we start to see some changes. It's around 8 o'clock. Still see quite a few clouds around on Thursday throughout the day, but there'll be a little bit more sunshine, and we think a whole lot less rainfall, although this looks a little too dry for me, but I do think especially I-4 southward on Thursday will have the better chance for the showers. This is the European model. That's Wednesday afternoon. You can see where the low is. It's sitting right out here, okay? Frontal boundary. We've drawn it as a cold front because now it is starting to slowly move to the south. That's Thursday afternoon, and you can see there's I-4 right where the front is. And that's why I would say the best chance on Thursday is going to be south of I-4 for the rain. But that's the beginning of the cooler, drier air. Let's just say drier air coming in from the north. You see all this northeast wind here? That's going to bring in that fresh air mass. They've had it up here in Georgia and the Carolinas. We just haven't had a taste of it yet. All right, so let's go out through Friday, 6 o'clock. Fronts all the way down almost to Lake Okeechobee, almost, but I think it gets there Friday evening. Yeah. This is going to spread dry air, we think, all the way down to South Florida. This is a look at the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and you can see by the time we get towards, well, let me back this up. Let's go this way. The amount of moisture in the atmosphere now, from the ground all the way up, is about 2.3 inches. That means if you squeeze all of that moisture out of the atmosphere and put it in a bucket, you'd get about 2.3 inches worth, right? Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot for making afternoon showers and storms, and making the storms that we do see produce heavier rainfall. So that's a high number for us, right? Watch what happens when you see this yellow and the brown come through here. That's Friday morning, and then look what happened. Now see, that is really dry air. Now that's not necessarily lower humidity for us. This is showing altogether the moisture from the ground all the way up. But what that means is rain chances are going away. All right, they're really going to be dried out quite a bit. There'll be some small chances the further south you go, but that's through Sunday. So we think Friday, for the most part, is dry. Saturday's dry, Sunday's dry, probably Monday and Tuesday. This is not until Thursday of next week. So over a week away before we bring the rain back. So we're not only talking lower humidity, a nice little break from our summertime stuff, but we're also talking a break in the rain. This is what the European model thinks. You can see about a 60% chance for tomorrow, 40% on Thursday, and look how much of that's south of Tampa. And then Friday, again, we think it's gone. Yeah, that looks really good. Saturday, Sunday, great weekend ahead. And here's the key. This is what I'm really excited about. It's that basically the feels like temp out there. The actual highs will be in the upper 80s this weekend, but when we drop almost 10 degrees in the dew point, you notice that. And that's what will happen, especially starting early on Friday morning. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's all going to be the same. You don't notice the dry air a lot on high temperatures because think of the desert. Cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon, right? It can heat right up. Dry air does that. Dry air can heat up and it can cool off very quickly. But you do notice it in the low temps. Look at these lows over the weekend. 72 Saturday morning, 71 Sunday morning, 72 Monday morning. Those are where we will have, and that's for Tampa, by the water. That's 86 degrees. Most areas will be in the upper 60s. to wake up each morning this weekend. So there's the 7-day forecast. Yeah, it's looking pretty good out there. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Mike Prangley's going to give you a little bit more about some pumpkin spice because it's that time of the year.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
These big trucks are dangerous and fast. And when it comes to big truck wrecks, the stakes can be really high. That's why you need a lawyer that's gotten big results for his clients. Hi, I'm attorney Dan Newland. I've recovered billions of dollars for accident victims. So if you've been hit by one of these big trucks or involved in a car accident, call me now. Let me fight for you.
At 813-888-8000. That's 813-888-8000.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Secure outdoor equipment and generators. Clear debris from around your AC unit and schedule a pre-storm HVAC and electrical inspection.
Those are some great tips. And Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
Jeopardy is for everybody.
That's amazing. Oh, yeah.
With players just like you.
Paramedic, a retired teacher, a psychiatrist.
I'm a little bit competitive.
That's the spirit.
Watch their victories.
We have a giant killer.
And heartbreaks.
Oh, no.
The next super champion could be anyone.
It's almost like a superhero origin story.
It could be you.
Oh, wow.
It's all happening on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy weeknights at 7:30 right here on 10 Tampa Bay.
Welcome back. Hey, Bobby, we got the fact of the day, the weather fact of the day, and I've got Country Roads. Take
some
me
John
home.
Denver. My very first concert.
Was it really?
Showing my age
I
a
love
little
John
bit here.
Denver.
Yeah,
Man.
love me some John Denver.
Check that out. Davis, West Virginia, 22 degrees. So Bobby was showing this fresh air. He didn't tell you that fresh air has a little nip to it, a little bite.
Wow.
And that's why I'm going about 2 to 3 degrees lower than the models we're looking at. I'm still going to be brave, stick my neck out there like a turkey. Yeah, let it be chopped off, but I'm still thinking, Bobby, I know. 69 is my forecast low, which is closer to record lows by Sunday morning. We'll get to that pumpkin spice forecast. But 22 this morning in Davis, 77 in Tampa. And again, we're not going to see the 20s. We're not going to freeze, but just thinking of perfect pumpkin spice weather out there. In fact, let's roll it. It just gets me in the mood for a pumpkin spice here. And we're talking about maybe getting out a cozy cardigan, you know, maybe a little sweater out there to go with your favorite pumpkin spices we head into the weekend. And there it is. We're tracking your forecast and tracking this. We'll have our pumpkin spice latte update, especially this weekend. So I'll be with you and yeah, made with some real pumpkin. That looks pretty good. So, you know, pour yourself a latte this weekend. It's finally happening. It's finally going to feel like fall here in Tampa, and it's about a month early. I mean, usually we don't see this sort of thing till later in October. You know, when our rainy season comes to an end, you get those nice, fresh, cool air masses. Well, we've got this fresh, cool air mass coming, well, I said late October tonight, so this is more than a month early, almost like 2 months early out there. So that's why we're celebrating a little pumpkin spice weather. And if you're not in the mood for pumpkin spice, how about Hollow Scream? Okay, that's going on at Busch Gardens. We can go back to the tape and check this out. There's new houses, there's scare zones, themed bars, live shows. So this weekend, I think we're all going to be in the Halloween type of mood with Hollow Scream. And, you know, it's running on select nights out there, so check ahead. And that'll be running now through November 1st. But,
great weather for it.
Yeah,
Make it just feel like fall out there, right?
Yeah, it'll be perfect. It'll set the stage and set the tone with the perfect weather, especially with those nice, cool evening temperatures on the way. Usually, you know, we're out there and it doesn't feel like Halloween. It feels like more like summer. So this year,
scary heat and humidity.
Yeah, scary, but not this year. We're talking about real Hollow Scream weather coming in, and that'll head on until November 1st. So as we come back and take a look at our forecast here, we talked about that Davis, West Virginia record low. How about a sip of fall next weekend here? I'm going to go with it. All right, so we got the hint of fall on our chart here. And as you put together these numbers, again, I got to show this. This is one of Bobby and I's favorite graphics, so I thought it was worth a second look. Look at this. We're seeing this dew point line, how it feels, and meteorologists love to use these dew points to forecast temperatures and low temperatures. So at night with the calm conditions, usually we're in the mid-70s near 80, but when that dew point falls well into the 60s, that's what's given me confidence that I think most of us, as we go away from all that water here in Tampa, we'll see lows in the even low 60s up toward the nature coast. So for our weekend forecast, sensational. Still calling for lows near 70, even in Tampa at the airport, 87 for your high there. Yeah, during the afternoon, of course, it's going to warm back up into the upper 80s to near 90, but it's not the heat. It's the humidity, and we're going to see much lower levels of that, and it's going to feel good out there. So again, 88 as we go into Sunday. There's that pumpkin spice weather with that low of 69. Last time we hit the 60s, okay, April 30th, so it's been a while. You can see Sunday morning, there's my 69. I went a little lower, okay? And then just keep in mind the record low is 67 set back in 1968. So let's go zone by zone. Where are the coolest temperatures going to be? Head up to Citrus County. Bob, you got the tent ready? You going to be camping up there?
Brooksville, Spring Hill.
65.
God's country.
I mean, Zephyr Hills. Isn't it beautiful there? 66, so near record low. 63 officially, Crystal River, my cool spot. Yeah, I put 69 from Tarpon Springs to Tampa, and that may be a
What is
little...
that, Carrollwood? That's 6'7".
6'7".
That's 6'7".
We're not... And the record, Bobby, is?
6'7".
Fish Hawk at 6'8".
My kids will like that.
We take a look at 70 degrees for Duet, Bradenton. So feeling like October, even for our southern zone. Let's look at Sarasota, 72 degrees, more October weather for you. And then, yep, pumpkin spice latte weather all the way to Lakeland, Lake Wales, 67, 69, and Lake Placid. So enjoy it while you can is the key in this forecast. And of course, we know it doesn't stick around a whole lot. But coming up, we are now 1 day away from the peak of hurricane season, but we've got some unusual Saharan dust, unusual help that's really keeping things on the quiet side. So Bobby and I will be back after this with more on the tropics and the good news for now.
I was driving when an 18-wheeler turned in front of me. I locked up my brakes, bam, slid dead into the truck. Bloody and hurt, I was loaded into an ambulance, and that's when I put out my phone and called Attorney Dan Newland. Dan jumped right on it. He was in my corner the whole way. He fought the fight from beginning to end and got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Dan, your awesome team deserves 6 stars. Thank you for winning my case.
Weather impacts your life every day. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. You can find out about any change in the weather with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just stream for the latest forecast, any weather impact alert, updated tropics forecast, and take a live look at the radar. Anytime you want, and it's free. It's just one more way we're helping you stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream 10 Tampa Bay Plus.
And it's like a movie script. It's family rivalry, betrayal, and murder.
They cover America's most fascinating true crime stories.
One way or another, that's an execution.
Absolutely.
Every case.
Who would want to hurt him?
Every clue.
This is dynamite for an investigator.
Every mystery that keeps you guessing until the very end.
Does everyone's jaws drop?
Dateline, 5 times a week.
Watch weekdays at 4 on 10 Tampa Bay.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
Who knows?
All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the tropics. Mike, we're going to get into that dust here. Let's just kind of set the stage, because as we head towards the middle and the end of the week, we're looking at 0 chances of development. We love that. So
0.
The big picture right now shows no development expected over the next 7 days. Let's go ahead and take weather 1 and we'll show you that. Basically, we had a system out there, Invest 91L. You remember that, but that one just fell apart. It got eaten up by the dust that Mike's talking about. There is another wave that's coming off of Africa. There's going to be a couple of them. And some of the models are saying that perhaps this weekend, Saturday night, Sunday, it gets out here south of Cape Verde Islands and then eventually tries to recurve. All right, but we're talking a week and a half time frame. All right, so we will be watching this area over the weekend just to see what it looks like when it comes off and see how much dust is there. But right now, the Hurricane Center is saying no development expected next 7 days. The Gulf is shut down right now with wind shear. That is fantastic news because if you watch the GFS, it's always saying it's blowing up a hurricane days 10, 12, 13, 14, whatever, at the very end of the model run, right? And a lot of times lately, it's been in the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean. But what you are seeing here is a ton of wind shear. You see this coming down like that?
Yeah.
That is a ton of shear. All right, so let me show you now. That's what it looks like now. Let's go out. Let's take this. It's a forecast model. Let's go out through Sunday, through the weekend, all right? Still all across the Gulf, lots of wind shear. Now let's go out through next week. Still a ton of shear. So that low that's out there right now, that had a decent chance of development if it didn't have that shear. And this is going all the way out through the, what is that, the 19th of the month. So the middle of the month is going to get shut down here, at least in the Gulf. We'll have to watch other things. You can kind of see here that it's looking like it's trying to do something else there, but this is part of the one that we think will come up and recurve, and you can see exactly why that would happen. This would just pick it up and take it out, or at least the trough associated with that. All right, Mike, let's talk dust.
Yeah, so the shear I love. So shear is one of our best friends this time of year, and Saharan dust, usually by the time we get to September, we just simply don't see this. I mean, Sal is alive and well, my nickname for the Saharan air layer, and you can see, let's put this into motion, and just big plumes of dust. Usually the Saharan dust, if you look at the climatology, it peaks in July. I mean, this is pretty amazing here. So this is one of the reasons why it's been so quiet as far as this tropics have gone here over the last couple of weeks. We've been snuffing out these storms, and it should keep us quiet for another 7 to 10 days. One thing we're watching, what's causing some of this dust to be unusually thick and hang around so long? Well, it's the water temperatures. Well, it always goes back, it seems like, to the water temperatures. You have the main development region, but if you look toward the African coast, okay, the equatorial Atlantic, we call it, we've heard of the La Nina in the Pacific. Well, we have what we call a little Nina going on, are cooler than normal water temperatures near the African coastline, not too far from the equator, and that tends to create what we call an actual drought in the Sahel. So we watch that West African region for rainfall, and if it's dry this time of year, you know, it's just below the Saharan desert, that helps create these big dust plumes that can carry in the Atlantic and snuff out storms. So hopefully we'll keep Sal around a little bit longer out there here, Bobby. But here, as we get closer to home, watching the Caribbean Gulf and the Western Caribbean, there's our water temperatures of 86. There's still a lot of untapped heat energy. And as you and I both know, things can change in a hurry, and that's why we check back day after day and day by day.
Yeah, the season's not over, right, Mike? It's
a
nice lull. We're starting to feel a little taste of fall.
Yeah.
That will change in about a week from Thursday, right? We'll get the humidity back, and then we'll see what the tropics want to look like. But if you take a look at the forecast now on my computer, the Hurricane Center does the next 7 days, okay? This forecast starts on day 8, which is the 17th, and basically says there through the 23rd, we're going to be watching that area off of Africa. You can see how maybe trying to recurve. It's so far out in time. But also the Western Caribbean and the Gulf, just a little bit.